Hi Charlotte, so you gave me This Green and Pleasant Land by Ayisha Malik as the book that you're going to be reading in 2022 for me to react to, and I'm really excited for you to read this one actually because I've had this on my wish list for a really long time. I've just noticed it's on offer on Amazon. Even though I don't really want to buy from Amazon, the fact that you're reading this makes me really want to read this. I've heard so many good things about this. I have read Ayisha Malik's other duology, is it? Sophia Khan is Not Obliged. Really enjoyed that stuff. And I just think that this is such a interesting sounding book. It is one that so many people have talked about. I think the message is something, you know, that's really prominent in society. It's about multiculturalism, it's about racism and the way that people perceive Muslims taking over the land. So I think that this is going to be a really important book. I think it's something that you're going to really enjoy. I do think it's a little bit different from what you usually read, but I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this one. And cannot wait to hear what you think. And also, if I buy a copy of this myself, down for a buddy read?
Hi Charlotte, it's Sylvie. Now let me see what book you sent me. Ooh, Beneath the Night by Stuart Clark. I have no idea what this is, but I like the cover. The cover is super pretty, and I know you like a pretty book, so. Okay, How the Stars Have Shaped the History of Humankind. Ooh, this is cool. Okay, so I'm guessing this is non-fiction. Okay, so I have pulled up the synopsis. Beneath the Night is a history of humanity told through our relationship with the night sky. Okay, so it's like a history, it's like a human history of stars. That's really cool. I really like that. From prehistoric cave art and ancient Egyptian zodiacs to the modern era of satellites and space exploration, Stuart Clark explores a fascination shared across the world and throughout millennia. Okay, so I've never heard of this book before. I've never heard of Stuart Clark before or read anything he's written, but it's like stars and astrology and space is something that I personally think is really cool and I'm really interested in. But I love how this is like a human history of stars, I think, from the sounds of it. I think that sounds so interesting, and I can't wait for you to read this and then review it so I can decide whether I want to read it, because I am on a mission to stop buying non-fiction, but if you like personally recommend this one to me, I will fail that mission quite happily. My reaction to this is that it looks stunning. Like, that's a beautiful cover. And that sounds so fascinating, and I feel like that element of like history of it, so it's not just like a scientific like book about the stars, but the human relationship with it, that sounds like a very Charlotte book. So I have good feelings about this book for you, and I can't wait to see what you think of it.
Okay, so hi, strap yourself in. Charlotte has very kindly asked me to tell you the story of Scenes from a Graphic Nature by Caroline O'Donoghue. I read this about a year and a half ago. I didn't look back at the synopsis, so let's see how much of the book I can actually remember. I don't know if I take in books as well as I used to a couple of years ago, so let's see where we're going with this one. You're following Charlie, who lives in London. She wants to be a film producer. She has already signed up for a film producing and film editing course, but she needs to have a really big, really standout project that she's going to get in there. She already has got a film made, and she is going to bring it to a film event in the west of Ireland, which is where her dad grew up. There's a big mystery in the town where he grew up. The school was one day affected by a bombing or an explosion or some sort of catastrophe where every single child in the village of his age died in this explosion. Except for him, because he wasn't in school that day. Even the teacher passed away during this. So this child is now being seen as the magic child. He's kind of revered by everybody in the community, but he has moved away. Nobody really talks about it anymore. So Charlie and her friend go back to Kerry and find out what is the situation with him. Something that I really liked about this book that nobody else is going to associate themselves with is that the town where I grew up was mentioned in it. Charlie and her friend are kind of in a will they, won't they situation for quite a lot of the book. And that does come to a head quite a few times. Didn't really like how it was settled out, but I still think it's such a great read. And if you like anything about films, if you like anything about Ireland, if you like anything about mysteries where you're trying to figure out what's happening by the end of this book, go and pick it up.
Hi Charlotte, you asked me to react to a video you were going to send me, so I'm going to go into Instagram and look at the video that you sent me. A Long Petal of the Sea by Isabel Allende. I have read The House of the Spirits by Isabel Allende, which was her debut novel, so I don't I don't feel I can fully judge her on that novel because I didn't love it. It is historical fiction. I thought it was a little too heavy on romanticizing situations and on metaphors and symbolism. I know you're not the biggest fan of that, I think, but Goodreads says that this is one of her newer novels, so maybe it will be a little bit different. I assume that her writing has changed a little bit. On the blurb it says, "From the author of The House with the Spirits." This epic novel, spanning decades and crossing continents, follows two young people as they flee the aftermath of the Spanish Civil War in search of a place to call home. In the late 1930s, civil war gripped Spain. Among them is a young pregnant woman who finds her life intertwined with that of Victor Dalmau, an army doctor and a brother of her deceased love. Okay, so it does sound like the same kind of story structure and the same type of characters and same type of situations, I think, as The House of the Spirits. So I wouldn't personally pick this up, and I think that you may have some issues as well with it being a little bit overdone. But maybe it is done in a good way in this book and still be incredibly enjoyable and dramatic the way that Les Mis is, which I know you enjoy. So I think this could be a hit or miss with you. I don't think I've seen you read anything that's a lot like this book, so I'm really curious to see how you feel about this one.
Hello, it is I, Gazim, a humble thief, also known as Ben. And yes, the novel that Charlotte gave me was Will by Christopher Rush, which I've never heard of before. Yes, I've had a look, and this looks like it could be a maybe Charlotte book. I mean, so number one, well, first of all, I'm boosted up, and side effects are I'm very tired, so that's why I'm a bit like, ugh. Anyway, so number one, it is historical fiction. Ding, ding, ding. It's historical fiction set in the Tudor period. Ding, 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 ding. And it's about William Shakespeare. Ding, 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 ding. So yes, I think you might like it. It'll be interesting to see as well, because I think it sort of spans his life. The premise is William Shakespeare making a will, and so he's sort of going through his life. So I think it'll be a good sort of counterpart to Hamnet, which I think you liked. Yes, yes, you did. I watched that review. 4 stars, I believe. So yes, I think you will like it. I think I'm going to be interested to hear what you make of it, because I sort of like the sound of it. One review said that the first half is better than the second half. So we'll see. But yes, enjoy.
Hi everyone, Kate Howe here, and I am excited to participate in Charlotte's video. So I'm going to open up the email. I have not seen this TBR book title yet, and let's see what it is. Okay, all right, and the book is, let's see, it's going to pop up. It's a picture. Ooh, Renaissance People, Lives That Shaped the Modern Age. So a non-fiction, and it looks like 6 people, possibly. The Renaissance is an era I am shamefully ignorant of. So this book is very intriguing. Like every era, the Renaissance brims with stories. In this book, Robert Davis and Beth Lindsmith highlight dozens of notable lives from between 1400 and 1600. Wow. Fiery rebels, stolid reactionaries, a pornographer, an acrobat, an actress, a poetic prostitute, a star comedian, and one very fretful mother. So a Renaissance Mrs. Bennet. Luther, Medici, Machiavelli, Leonardo. The Renaissance is a really fascinating time period for church history, art history, science. Just unbelievable. I mean, it is iconic for a reason. And I do know that that whole broad time period is very interesting to me after reading George Eliot's Romola, which is set in Medici era Florence. And that made me want to know more about the time period. Let's see how long this is. 376 pages. So this does not seem like an unrealistic nonfiction to get through, because sometimes a topical nonfiction is just so vast and long. So I think I shall be adding this to my TBR. Charlotte, this seems so up your alley, and I hope that you enjoy it. And thank you for letting me participate in this.
Hi everyone, I'm Rosie, and I have never been so excited about a book from the moment I saw it. That's probably an exaggeration. I get very excited about books, but A Time to Dance, A Time to Die, A History of the Dancing Plague. I try so hard not to put books on my TBR based on other people's TBRs because, like, they haven't even read them yet. But this one was an auto ad. The dancing plague is such an interesting topic, and it's one that I've only ever seen referred to in passing. So I'm so excited about the concept of a book that is actually like an in-depth analysis. And I don't know if this one will be good or not, but the entire premise has me so excited that I really, really hope you're going to love this one and that it will be a fantastic read for you in 2022. Thanks so much for including me in this.
Good evening, campers. I have been asked to react to, which should be easy, apart from the fact that I can't remember why I bought this for Charlotte. I don't know if it was for a particular reason or for an occasion. I probably just felt like a really decent person. I don't know. I don't even know what it's really about. I just remember it came up and I had Empress Matilde, and I went, oh, Charlotte will probably like that. And it was kind of like catalogued in my mind. And then I sent it. The slight pungent whiff of Matilde would be enough to garner 5-star from Charlotte. And therefore, this is my reaction. I sent it. I don't. Bye.
Hello Charlotte. If this video is a little bit haphazard and sleepy, it's because I am haphazard and sleepy. I've just come in from my work Christmas do and I am, as you can see, ready for bed. But before I go, I need to react to your 2022 TBR. So the book that you've chosen for me is An Ancient Guide to Modern Life by Natalie Haynes, and I hope I remember that correctly. And I was a little bit like shook to see that because I thought I knew a lot about what Natalie Haynes has published because I read Pandora's Jar earlier this year, absolutely loved it, 5 stars, and I wanted to read 1,000 Ships, also by her, and I was pretty sure that those were like her 2 like books. Like, I didn't realise that she had another one because I haven't heard as much about this one at all. So I've had a little look on Goodreads. I'm thinking maybe it was like a debut or one of the first ones she published. Maybe it didn't have as much buzz. Maybe it did and I'm just out of the loop. But it seems to be a bit of a primer for sort of ancient classics like Greek and Roman, and it's kind of about how their rituals and their practices can be seen in our everyday, like rituals and practice and language as well. And one of the quotes from like someone important, I'm guessing, said it'll have you reaching for the classics. So I wonder if you'll actually like it, because I know you are very well versed in classics, and if it is sort of a primer for beginners, it might just be repeating a lot of stuff for you. Although that could be beneficial for me because I'm a bit of an idiot when it comes to classics. A lot of it goes over my head or I just cannot be bothered to read. So if it's sort of like a guide for beginners, I'm excited about that and you can recommend it to me. But I hope in a weird way that it's not and you enjoy it a bit more and it is like not so rudimentary for you. But I'm excited to hear what you think about it and I hope you enjoy the rest of your books. Bye!
Hello! So Charlotte has sent me a little link to Goodreads to a book that she plans to read in 2022 as a priority for her 2022 TBR. So let's just have a quick look at the book and ooh, okay. So I thought I wasn't going to know what the book was because obviously Charlotte does read a lot of different genres, but she always makes them sound really interesting, and that's the hook when you watch Charlotte's videos, is that you know, you end up adding loads of books to your TBR that you didn't think that you wanted to read, because she makes every book sound super interesting. But the one that she did send me was one of the 6 Tudor Queens books by Alison Weir, and this one is Katherine of Aragon, the True Queen. Oh, this is the first one in the series. I would have thought that Charlotte would have read these by now, because I know that they're Caris's, from Caris's Corner. She loves these books. I think she's maybe read the first 2. So I'm really surprised with Charlotte being such like a history buff that she hasn't read these, so I can see why she's prioritizing this in 2022, but I'm very excited to see what Charlotte thinks of it when she does read it.